In this video, we're going to be talking about finding the least common multiple of two or more numbers. So first, in order to find the least common multiple, we need to know what a common multiple is. A common multiple is a multiple that's shared by two or more numbers. And remember, multiples are when you're counting by a number. So for example, multiples of 2 would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. The least common multiple is the smallest multiple that two or more numbers have in common. So we are going to be focusing on how to find that LCM, we call it, today. Okay, this is a story problem. Now, you do not need to write this whole thing down in your notebook, because essentially we're just going to be finding an LCM. So it says, let's read what it says though. So it says crop rotation is a system in which farmers vary the crops they plant in their fields each year. Suppose a farmer grows soybeans in a certain field every 6 years. Okay, so let's underline that. It's probably going to be important. 6 years. In another field, the farmer grows soybeans every 10 years. This year, the farmer is growing soybeans in both fields. In how many years will the farmer grow soybeans in both fields again? So they've got these two fields that in every 6 years they grow soybeans in one, and then in every 10 years they grow soybeans in the other. So at some point it's going to overlap and you're going to be growing soybeans in both fields, which is what's happening. So it wants to know, in how many years will this happen again? Well, if I count by 6s and I count by 10s, eventually I'll get a number that's the same, and that'll be like the number of years it takes for them to overlap. So essentially what I'm doing here is finding the least common multiple. So we'll say we're going to list the multiples of each number, and then we're going to identify the smallest number on each list. Okay, again, you don't need to write down this whole paragraph as long as you write down the process of finding the LCM. You can write it down, though, if you want. So let's start by writing down the multiples of 6. Multiples of 6. Okay, so 6, 12, 18, 24, 36, 42, 48, 54. I'm going to stop at 60 because I ran out of room. Okay, next we're going to write down the multiples of 10. So the multiples of 10 are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I noticed the same multiple here, so I'm going to stop. Actually, I noticed a couple that are the same. So, oh man, I messed up here. Sorry, there should have been another. So when I was counting by 6s, I went 6, 12, 18, 24. There should have been a 30 here. Let's add that into our list because I forgot to add it. 24, 30, 36, 42. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, so look at your list. What do you notice? What common multiples do you see? Well, I see they both have a 60, and I see they both have a 30. So to identify the least common multiple, you pick the smaller of your options. So 30 is smaller, so that's going to be my LCM. So 30 is the LCM. So that means in 30 years, the farmer's fields will overlap again, and he'll be growing soybeans in both. Okay, next, we're going to do a couple more examples. So example 2 says, find the LCM of the given numbers. All right, so what I'm going to do is list out the multiples of both numbers and see where there is an intersection. So I've got 16 and 24. So let's list out the multiples, some of them. So if I count by 16s, I'm just basically adding 16 over and over again. So 16 plus 16 is 32. Add another 16, I get 48. Add another 16, I get 64. And then for 24, The multiples of 24 are 24. Add another 24, I get 48. Add another 24, I get 72. But actually, I can stop there because I notice that there's an overlap. There's a 48 in both lists. So that is my LCM. It's the smallest multiple that they have in common. Okay, now I'm working with an example that is 3 numbers. So 6, 8, and 20. So it's the same process. I just want to see which multiple all 3 of them have in common. So I'm going to list out for 6, 8, and 20. Several multiples for each. So 6, let's see if I can count by 6s this time. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, I'm not going to forget that this time, 36, 42, 48, and this could keep on going. I'm going to stop for now. 8, 16, 24, I'm just counting by 8s here. I'm listing out all the multiples of 8. 32, 40, 48. Actually, on your sheet, go ahead and change this to a 24. That's actually what it should have been. This should have been a 24. Sorry about that. Okay, so many mistakes in this video. 24. This should be a 24. All right, let's keep going with the 8s. 56, 64. Okay, I'm going to stop there for now. Let's see if I get any overlap. If I count by 24s, I get 24, 48. And actually, I can stop because look at all 3 numbers have a multiple of 24. There is an overlap there. So that is my least common multiple. 24. So I want to pick the smallest number that all my lists have in common.